Hey guys, welcome to Design Creators. So let's see how we can use this type tool. There are several type tools. The horizontal type tool is the most important one. So let me select it. Okay, and you can type in two ways. One is you can create a text box just like this by dragging a text box typable area. Inside this you can type. And then also I'm assuming you're a beginner and you don't know these two, right? You have created a type box, which if you want to cancel it, you have to press this. The keyboard shortcut will be escape, or if you want to keep the change, you have to press enter on your keyboard or this tick icon. So let me press the cancel so that we can cancel it and start over. I'm getting the horizontal type tool, and we'll come back to the typable area, the type box which you create in a while. But before that, take the horizontal type tool, just start clicking in one place. But as you can see, if I just click and when I start typing, the text size is too tiny, and you have now question Photoshop is broken, it's not working, what's going on? So for beginners, I would recommend always try to increase the font size before you even start typing. And for this as well, every time when you type or every time when you make an image size bigger or smaller, these two you have to, however, you have to do something about this. That means you have to press escape or enter. In our case, we'll press the cancel button and it's gone. All right, so up here, if you can see, this is where we change the font, and this is the font weight, and this is the font size, and this is the sharpness. I'll come back to it in a while, and alignment and font color, and you can make the font arc, you can arc it and so on. So in here we have to just increase the font size to a bigger number like 100, or you could do like this. You can use the character panel, which is this, but if you don't have the character panel, you have to go to window. From there you have to find character. Okay, so once you get the character panel is going to look like this. All you have to do is drag it and place it wherever you wish, to any side, like right or left, or even in here. And if you press this tiny double headed arrows, see, it will open and it will collapse. You have to open it, you have to drag it and place it somewhere here. If you have a small monitor like mine, which is a 17-inch laptop, that means I cannot always open these menus up here. That's because there is not much screen space here on my document. Therefore, let's collapse it and just let's leave it like this. So whenever I can click to open and click again to open, or just press on the icon itself so that it will get closed. Right, let's move on. Get the type tool, and before clicking, remember 100 pixels. PT is equal to pixel, that means this is 100 pixel. Let me start typing by clicking. Also keep in mind, by default, if your color, that means when you click here, if your color is set to white, let's say I'm going to type something, what's going on? I can't see the font size and you will get confused. So therefore, before you even type with white color, make sure to change for a better font color, and then you just have to press OK. Let's click to start typing. Let me type my name. There we go. And do not press enter, because this button shortcut key is enter, but I'm recommending not to press enter. If you press enter, it will take you to another line downwards. Please wait. Let me change all of these settings back to default. Okay, yeah. Now when you press enter, see, it's taking you to another line down. This blinking line over here, that I'm talking about. So when you type and when you press enter again, it will take you to one line downwards. You can highlight all of this up to next to the letter L, and then if I press backspace on my keyboard, it will get deleted. So instead of pressing enter, press this to accept the change. Okay, and also when you press the tick icon, now you can use your move tool. I am assuming you know all these tools before you even learn the horizontal type tool. So get the move tool, and as you can see, you will be able to make the text size bigger if you are on your move tool. But let me teach you a shortcut key, which will be, right, assume I am going to type something. Let me delete this and start over by taking the horizontal type tool, click and typing. Now if you need to make this bigger, you could highlight this and increase the font size. 6 make it smaller, 24 make it bigger, and 72 or 100, like let's say 150, it just makes it bigger, right? But what if you have to use the transformation controls to make it bigger? What is transformation controls? So these are the transformation controls. You know, by holding these anchor points, you can click drag to make it bigger, or just click drag it downwards to shrink the size of the font. You could do this if I get this tool, the move tool, but you can also hold down control on your keyboard. As you can see, now we are revealing. Now once I'm holding it down, we are revealing the transformation controls. Now from this place, you can click drag to move it to wherever you want, and you could just make it bigger or all bigger. And once you do this, I'm warning you, do not shrink the font like this, or don't stretch it like this. Yeah, never do that. Don't break one of the important rules in graphic designing, that will be shrinking the original text perspective like this, or stretching it. Never do that, because you break the original look of a font, which is not recommended. So therefore, every single time, let's say I'm typing something, then while holding control, remember when you click drag it, remember to hold down shift as well, so that it will maintain perspective. If you don't hold shift, this is what is going to happen. If you have a newer version of Photoshop, you doesn't have to hold down shift, because shift is by default is already pressed automatically, so you do not have to hold it down if you are having a newer version. Okay, now that you know how to use the type tool and start typing, you know how to change the font color, so on. Also remember, now how do I change the font color? Obviously, if we get the type tool, now here's the font color, it's revealing. But now when I change it to, let's say, blue, and press OK, okay, I will select this, get the type tool, change it to whatever the color you want, and now when you change it, it will not get changed, but for me it is getting changed. Okay, that is because I'm having a Photoshop newer version. That's what it's getting changed. That means I can update it here and check the live change. But for most of you, when you get the type tool, all right, then when you highlight, you have to highlight. If you have a older version of Photoshop, you have to highlight the text like this, then you have to change the color, which it will change the color for you. Okay, so also you could highlight the font by just double clicking on this letter T. Double click here, and notice once I am with the move tool, it will switch to the type tool. Okay, let me double click over here, and now text is highlighted. At the same time, type tool is selected. Okay, so another main method to change the font style and everything, you have to get the character panel. Here I could change the font, right? So also this here is the font size, which we could, let me zoom in, then I will draw on screen. So this icon over here, if you pull it, if you click drag it towards your right side, the font size is going to get bigger, and if you pull it towards the other side, it's going to reduce the font size. Let's see how does it works. Okay, so I'm going to pull it towards my right side, it's making it bigger, and so on to the left side. it will make it smaller. Okay, so now you know that you can click drag all of these icons to do the same thing. Right, what's next? This is the leading. Okay, what does it do is when you have two or more lines, now I have just one line, right? I have to get the type tool or just double click here or double click on the text itself. Let me double click on the text itself. Now I am directly inside the type tool. Click next to your last letter and type enter on your keyboard. Press enter and type another line. Now we have two lines, and remember, get back to the move tool or highlight these two together. I'm getting back to the move tool and character panel, and this is the leading which by using it we can increase or decrease the font size. That's super cool. Next is this here, which is tracking, right? Let me zoom in. Yeah, tracking is very simple. For that I better get it back to one single line so it's super clear and easy to understand. Let me also make this smaller, keep it on screen. Now let me increase the tracking by dragging this icon over here, and you will start to notice I am now increasing the space between each character, and I can reduce it all the way. That's tracking. And next is kerning. This here, now this is usually mostly useful for when you are editing a logo and so on. If you want to customize each and every space between each character, that means you can click in between this. Let's say you wanna reduce this spacing over here, so click here and then just increase or decrease it, so that I'm now affecting only the space in between the letter S and F, nothing else. Also, if you click here, you can control the spacing between that. You can even make it close as much as possible. The maximum it goes to -1000. Okay, right. Next, never ever use this tool. This is where we can stretch or shrink or squeeze the font look of the font, which I'm recommending not to use. Always keep it at 100%. Let's say I'm increasing the height. Never do this because you are breaking the original look of it. And never stretch it or squeeze it like so. Never touch this. Always make sure that if it's 100, if it's less than like or more than 100, make sure to put it back to 100. Now this here you should know, it's the color we can change. Next is using this you can control the superscript and subscript, right? Subscript and superscript. So this is basically like if I highlight the letter S, before that I will make sure I put all this back to default. Okay, so let me put all this back to default. Right, now if I highlight the letter S and if I pull this towards to the right, it will send it position to the top, and likewise for the left side drag, which is sending it to the bottom, so on. Now we'll talk about this superscript and subscript. For that I need to type to text, which will be, let's say, 10th. Yeah, I'm done with that, and press enter. But we cannot press enter, therefore I'm pressing this alt click drag to duplicate the text, so on, and double click and start typing over it, that is H2O. Okay, let me move this to here. Okay, now I'm going to highlight, just select one text, highlight the TH, and if I press the superscript, it's going to send it to the top. And likewise, I'm going to do the same for the 2, which if I highlight the 2, why it's not working? When this is here, it doesn't work properly. Okay, 2 is selected. Now press the subscript, it will send it to the bottom. Or you could use this as well. Okay, selecting the text, duplicating, typing. Right, now this here you can force bold the text. Force bold. Now this here is the font weight, which we will find thin. You can make the font thinner or bolder and so on. So if I press bold, it will bold, make the font bold, right? But you could press this to make it a little bit further more bold. This is force bold. Now most of the time, why do we use it? Let's say some fonts doesn't have font weights at all. Now this font has many font weights, so I guess I have to find out a font that doesn't have any type of a font weight. Let's see, does this have a font weight? No, it just have one font weight. Therefore now I have no option to make this bold, so I have to press this force bold so that it should make sure that it bolds little bit likewise. Next, the force slant or italic we call it. So if I press this, it will slant the text a little bit. Then this here, if I press this, it will make sure all my text is in capital letters. So I'm going to disable this and enable this. Now check, all the letters are now in capital. Now here, if you press this, for that I need to make sure put the A to simple and change it to a different font. Okay, now let's say you have a text but everything is in capital. If you press this, it's going to make sure, like I was telling, that if you have the text in simple letters, then if you press this, it's going to make everything go to capital letters. And this is the underline. You can add the line downwards, and this is a strike through. If you want to cut it just like that, you can use this. And these are all mostly unwanted or less used options, which we'll not talk about now. But this here is also not so much important. By default, it will be kept at sharp, so make sure it is at sharp. Now if it's not at sharp, let's say you have kept it at none, when I zoom in, as you can see, look at the quality of the edges, which is not so sharp. We have to put it to sharp, not even smooth. Sometimes smooth works, sometimes sharp is better. Okay, by default it will be at sharp. Try to keep it at sharp. Okay, now we'll talk about the text frame. Okay, let me select all of this and press the delete and get the rectangle tool. I will create a box like this. Okay, and I will also duplicate it by holding Alt and make sure it is wider. It is a wide box now. Okay, now get your type tool. Also before that, I should need a paragraph, so let me go to, okay, once in Google, let's search for lorem text. Okay, now here we can find some text, or just grab any text from here, or just do whatever the settings like this and just press generate lorem ipsum and it will give you some fake paragraph. So let me copy all of this up to here, then Control C to copy, go back to Photoshop, get your type tool and decide the font size. In this case, let me place it like 36. Font color will be white or gray. Now let me click drag inside this box, and now here I have to paste it, Control V, and then whatever I copied is placed inside this box. And make sure press Control A and align, center align or left align, do the alignment properly. Okay, and also I'm going to alt click drag this to the other side. Okay, now if I am not using a type box, which how do we create a type box? By click dragging it, right? This is a type box. If I don't do with a type box, that means all of this text I have to manually adjust it to go to fit inside this box manually. Now since this is a type box, I can select it, but remember, once you are with the move tool, if you click drag, now it is going to stretch the font like this. But as soon as you get the type tool and click inside, and now if you click drag the type box, which it will automatically adjust the lines for you. As you can see, now this text here will go one line downwards if it doesn't have enough of space to stay up. As you can see, it went one line down, so on. Okay, it is responsive automatically, which is a super feature. That means you could easily make adjustment and not worry about manually, like this, manually placing your mouse cursor here, then manually typing enter to get it to one line, manually keep it here and press enter to get it to another line. You don't have to do that if you use the text frame options. Okay, let me tell you a shortcut key for kerning. Select the text and double click. Let's say I want to increase the space between these two or decrease it. Now you have to hold down Alt on your key and use the left or right keys, arrow keys on your keyboard to adjust the kerning. Likewise, if you press Control A, it will select everything. Now hold down the same keys, which are Alt, left or right keys, to adjust the kerning. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading videos like this a lot, so please go to my channel and press that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Have a great day.